and welcome to In the Public Interest. I am your host, Beanie Stansberry. You're watching on WBHY, or you're listening to the 5-time Stellar Award-winning station, 1300 WIMG. And every time I say that, it makes me smile. It really makes me smile. Well, across from me, or not across, on the screen with me, I have to break myself from certain habits, right? And you would think after 2 years of being in a pandemic and doing Zooms, I would get it. Like 2 years went by and I still want to say across from me. But with me is one of my close friends. Like, I have so much love for her, and that's Miss Patricia Hall. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Patricia. Patricia will get you into stuff, and you're like, huh? She'd be like, oh no, Beanie, I need you. This is what we're going to do. That's how that conversation goes. And then I'm like, oh, that does sound like a good idea. And then I'm there. So this is how Patricia and I roll on a constant. But she had me involved with an organization called MISFET, correct? I want to make sure I'm saying it right, Patricia.
MISFET.
MISFET, okay. And I met a beautiful woman. I think she's such a sweetheart. I know she's gonna be like, I know she didn't just call me Miss Hall, but I be feeling funny calling her by her first name. I be feeling like my
you
grandma
call me Deborah.
I don't know. I tried. See, it's easier for Patricia because that was your sister-in-law. But I could just envision my grandmother saying, "Oh,
my sister-in-law."
And sister-in-law. That's right. And yeah, so I'm gonna try to call you by your first name, but don't be offended if I don't. Okay. All right, but you guys are a part of a beautiful organization. So I want Miss Hall, I want you to tell me what is MISFET and why were you involved?
First of all, I want to say thank you to you and your station for having us on tonight. I mean, that's just so great, and we're just so honored to be here. Well, we started Mothers in Support of Fair and Equal Treatment 2020 because we wanted to make a difference. And a number of women in the organizations are older women, and they are not into protesting. They're not into marching. They're just not into that. But their heart is good. And they said, what can we do? So we started this organization, and we lobby for certain causes. We write senators. We call senators' offices. And that's basically what we do. And the main focus is that we have compassion and love for our communities. That is our main focus, because this is what's needed in our communities today. We need love, we need compassion, we need someone that care about us. And so this is why we got this organization started.
Can't hear you, Beanie.
How about if I unmute myself, you can hear me? How about that would be the first step to allowing you to hear my question? Wow. So if I'm not hearing you, if I'm hearing you correctly, you said that is primarily older women who do not want to go out and protest, but want to use their pen as their power. I think that's amazing, because we can tend to, for lack of a better phrase, and I don't want to offend anyone, but we tend to throw away our seniors, our seasoned people, and act as if they do not have nothing to offer. But you hit it on the nail. Y'all do activism. Y'all write. Explain to me or to the world how important it is to make those calls to the senators and make those letters, write those letters? How important is that?
It is extremely important. And before I move on, I want to make sure I mention that we do have a lot of younger women that came aboard too to support us. So
Yeah,
I
but
just
in
want,
the beginning,
in the
because
beginning, it was older.
It's us
I'm
old
going to
fogies.
bring, yeah, I'm gonna bring
Mm,
Patricia in. She a
okay.
little old though.
Hey,
Yeah, yes, writing letters and contacting these officials that we elected into office is extremely vital. See, we forget that they work for us. If something happens to us, these people are out here, they're knocking on doors, they're begging us, they're making all these phone calls. They're doing all these things over and over and harassing us. And we're like, man, will you stop to get our vote? Then we go out and we vote in the rain, in the cold. We go vote.
mhm.
And then when they get in, the roles turn. All of a sudden, they are somebody, and it's like we are scared to say anything. We don't want to say anything. We grumble among each other. Well, if you vote for someone or you have a representative representing you, then you need to write their representative. You need to call their representative. You need to let them know I'm unhappy because tax dollars are going out of my check. I'm unhappy. You need to know I'm unhappy. I voted for you.
Mhm.
So
Amen.
we need, and this is what we try to get people to see, is that these officials are supposed to be working for us. I don't know when it changed.
Mhm.
I don't know when it changed that they get up, and I feel like they pimp us. They come to our Black churches.
Mhm.
They go
Yeah.
all over the communities. And then when they get in, we don't do anything. No, when they get in, we should hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah.
We should say, you said A, B, and C, and this is why I voted for you.
Mhm.
And it's best in numbers. You know, we need numbers. We need people to get involved.
I want to add something with that. Yes, we forget that they work for us. We do. We get complacent once we hear the results after election day. We feel our civic duty is over. You know, we did what we were supposed to do. We went out, we voted, and whoever won won. Um, but they too forget that they work for us because we let them forget it, because we have that sense of complacency. Even
Yes.
though the person gets into office, they have to be reminded how they got there, who put them there, and the power that we have behind them being there. If you're not satisfied with whatever your representative is doing on whatever level, there is a system set up for you to be able to contact them. There's a reason. There's a reason. We have the right and the opportunity to address them. Um, and I think that we in Misfit, um, we are, I don't think, I know that we are committed to several things, but one of the things is making sure that our voices are heard. Our voices are heard as a community. Our voices are heard as voters. Our voices are heard as mothers. It's in our title, mothers in support of fair and equal treatment. And the more we use our best tool, which is our voice, the more we use that, the more we can remind those individuals once we get them in office, we're here using outlets like this. And again, the second tool is the mighty sword, the pen. Write, write them, put it in writing, put it in an envelope and mail it. There's even a way to email them. You know, the opportunity is there, and we allow them to become complacent. We allow it. So we can't be upset. We can't be upset with them because we're allowing it. And I'm going places that I don't even know if we want to get into, but even in our community, if the community, I'll speak specifically of what Misfit is about. If the community of mothers could come together on a whole and voice our concerns and stand up and support the various causes, if we could come together as a community, just like Deborah said, there is strength in numbers. They can't ignore us. If there's mothers out there, you know, you've got Moms Demand Action, big here in the state of New Jersey, huge. They lobby. They've been to the White House. They've spoken on the Senate floor and so forth. And so these people have done, they get it. And because they have come together and have a large voice, people hear them and people take them seriously. We as a community need to learn how to do that. We have to learn how to do that.
You said something that is powerful, and you said mothers. So let's go a little bit backwards and say, what do MISFET stand for?
I'll leave that to our president.
We stand for supporting mothers who feel like they are alone. We grieve with mothers who have lost their children.
Mhm.
When in Richmond, we called and signed petitions to get the no-knock warrant, you know, disbanded in Richmond after Briana Taylor. So we fight to do these things for women because women, let me share this about women. I love us, but let me share this. Women smile. We smile a lot so that we can be received. Do you know when a man smiles? It's when he wants to. If he's making a presentation tonight, he ain't smiling unless he feel like he has to. But women, if we walk in the room, the first thing we do is we put on that smile, because we don't put on that smile, they're going to think we're mean. They're going to think we this. They're going to think we that. So we throw on the smile. We do so much to get along. And while we're doing all this to get along and to fit in, we forget to stand up. And we got to stand up. People, we don't have a choice no more. We keep saying, and we are believers. You know, we are believers. And sometimes I think as believers, we say, well, girl, all we can do is pray. Well, I want them to find a scripture in the Bible where all Christians did was pray. God worked miracles, but it was with someone. Moses just didn't pray. He went to work. Abraham just didn't pray. He did something. These people did something. Now we just say, girl, I'm so overwhelmed. There's nothing we can do about these crazy people. All we can do is pray. We can pray and we can ask God to lead and guide us. And we can try to speak with his love and speak with his strength to make a difference. How dare us sit here and we are supposed to be the light and the salt of the earth and do nothing but say we are praying.
Exactly.
How dare us? So mothers who give birth, we are the vessels of life. And I'm not discounting fathers, because I can hear some fathers now where you wouldn't have a baby without the seed. You're right. But we are the vessels. We carry that baby 9 months in our stomach, and we try to feed, nurse. We stop smoking. We try to stop drinking. We try to eat right. Everything for that baby to give birth to life. And so why, when the child is born and get about 15, we feel we don't have to fight for his or her life?
I want to speak on that also. You know, the word, there's a whole book in the Bible that's all about battles. Battles commissioned by God. Yes, it's important to pray, but you also have to know when to fight. You also have to know what vehicle it is you need to be fighting. You need to know your enemy. You also need to know what weapon to use when you fight. So praying is absolutely important, because the prayer life is what keeps you in touch with God, to know what it is you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to be doing it, how you're supposed to be doing it, and where, and so forth and so on. So yes, prayer is important, but sometimes fighting is necessary. Who was out there with 5 stones? He didn't pray. He armed himself with what he had. and won the war, won the battle. Absolutely. You have to know when it is time for you to get off your tail and fight. There's another scripture in the Bible that says, it's about the man at the pool of Bethesda. He was waiting to be healed. He was lame, and he had managed to get to the pool. And every now and again, the waters in the pool would rumble. And that's when the people who were sick would run to the pool or get to the pool or have people put them in the pool so that they could get to have the waters on them and heal them. So one day, he can't get there, for whatever reason, he can't get there. And one day, a man, Jesus, is standing next to him and says to him, "Do you want to be healed?" And the man's giving him all these excuses. Well, I'm here and I can't get because this person and that person. And all Jesus said was, "Do you want to be healed?" Because there's something we have to do when it comes to a healing in our communities, in our homes. It is something that we have to do. And as mothers, because that's what we are, I can't come and speak on behalf of fathers from a personal experience because I am not a man, I am a mother. So as a mother, I'm praying, I'm in communication with God. I'm going to make sure that I'm armed for the right kind of battle with the right tools and so forth and so on. And I have to make sure that I want to be healed. I have to make sure that it's enough going on around me to put me in a position to where I don't have time for excuses. I have to roll up my sleeves and I have to answer that question. Do I want to be healed? Do I want my community healed? Then I need to get out and do what I need to get done. So yes, prayer is important, but that's something that a lot of us use as a scapegoat. And I say us, meaning the Christian community. And it's not everybody's fight.
Now, something was said, she mentioned Moses. And what she said was, Moses went and did something. Well, when Moses, after praying, and the Lord said, go, he said, well, who am I going to say sent me? I stuttered. He said, I told you to go. I'm telling you to work. And if you stop and listen, I will tell you what to say, how to say, and when to say it. Absolutely. But you have to learn to be quiet, trust me, and I'll do the work with you. I'll do it for you. I'll make it easy. And he went. So he said, who shall I say sent me? I am.
I am. That's right.
That's right.
So if he needs that fighter, he's going to be the fighter inside of you. What do Misfit stand for, the name?
Mothers in support of fair and equal treatment, 2020. And we put 2020 on it because that's the year we started. And also because 2020 was the year of clarity and vision.
Yes.
And in that year, I think we saw a lot of things, we began to see. We saw a lot of things.
It was a tumultuous year.
Yeah, so so that's why we put 2020 on it. But it's mothers in support of fair and equal treatment. And I want to stress this. We're talking about fair and equal treatment for everybody. As a believer, I don't want to see a person of a different color or a different race mistreated either. That's right. Not what we're about.
But it doesn't say Black mothers. It says mothers.
Mother. That's right.
And mothers are of all colors. All colors.
And we're united in our motherhood.
Say that again.
We're united in our motherhood.
The only thing we have to be is women and had a child. But you don't necessarily have to have your own child.
Exactly.
So, but the qualification for a mother is a woman. So sorry, men. But
we do have, let me say this really quick. We do have women in there who do not have children.
Yes.
But they have joined because they want to be in the fight.
They have a voice.
Yeah, they say we want to be a part of, and we accept them.
Let's go back to, you said that y'all wrote letters to your why can't I talk right now?
government
to your
officials.
lawmakers, to about the no knock warrant. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we started out saying in Virginia, after the Briana Teller, I think people are aware of that situation. And
Well,
so
if
then,
not, let them know. We won't always assume that everybody know, which you will have to be living under the rock. But just in case there's one person that
Under the
came
rock.
up from under that rock, who is Briana Taylor?
Briana Teller was, I used the term assassinated, in the
Mhm.
military right term, by police officers in her home, in her apartment. They said at the time they were coming in to arrest someone that they thought was there,
Mhm.
and they killed her. A young lady, I think she worked in the medical field. I want to say, I can't think of what it field now, so I don't want to mess it up. She wasn't a nurse, but she was I don't know if it was a paramedic or something, but she was in that field. And they killed that young lady, beautiful young lady. And then her mother, of course, was grieving, like that's what we mothers do.
Mhm.
And so the argument was about the warrant, the no knock warrant. Should police knock before they come in? They got these no knock warrants, which I didn't know existed, which I guess they don't have to knock, but to go in. So what happened in Richmond, at that time, we had Governor Northam that was in charge. And so the community started petitioning around, and we started calling legislators saying, hey, we stand for this. We want the no knock warrant. And we started, fighting against that no knock warrant. And so the governor put it into effect that it's illegal in Virginia now. I think it's North Carolina. I've lived there too, so I'm getting confused. But in Virginia.
So I wanted you to bring that back out because so many people say my voice doesn't matter. And I'm always arguing to people, don't think that your vote is not your voice. Because what happens is they will count you not talking as a vote for them. So if you like the way things are being ran, then you continue to not vote. But if you're upset about it, then your vote is your power. And I've always said people are not going to take something of no value. So they're taking your right to vote and they're making it difficult for you to vote because they see the value in something that you don't see. So I'm always fussing about voting, but you guys writing shows proof that there is something that you can do. And talk to me about that.
Well, what it shows, and that's why we did numbers. And you said something I want to touch on. And that is, by them not saying anything, they don't realize they are saying something. Yes. I tell people a lot of times, oh, your silence is speaking so loud. Because people think they're just silent if something go on, and therefore they're okay. But everybody is affected. And if you don't get involved and stand up for what's going on, then your silence is almost an agreement. And what's happening now is you can see in these states the way they are fighting to keep people from voting and everything that's going on, that we must stand up and have a voice. Our voice, as you ladies both has expressed, is just so awesome. So awesome. And people don't realize that. I always tell people I don't suffer silently. So if I'm in pain, everybody in the room know I'm in pain. But if everybody, they'll tell you, oh Lord, she got a headache. But if you're sitting over there and you're suffering and you're in pain and you're not saying anything, I don't know if you think you're being a martyr or you don't think nobody cares, but you're just not saying anything, then don't get angry in the room when the medication is passed around and you don't get any.
And you don't get any.
Don't say they treated me badly. I sit over there, they wouldn't even pass me a Tylenol, but everybody else in the room got a Tylenol. Well, you sit there like you were fine with everything. You sit there like you were not bothered. So that's the main thing that I want. I probably forgot your question because I really got hung up on your on what you were speaking about, silence and people being silent. That really just, because that's one of my pet peeves that really get with me, because I know a lot of people who are silent. And
Well, I like your analogy of you could be in that room, and if you don't open up your mouth and say something, things will pass you by. So, and then you're mad with everybody else when the only person you ought to be mad with is yourself for not saying anything.
Mhm.
I love that. I'm gonna have to use that. Trust me. So, I probably forgot what the question is too. So we're gonna move on.
okay.
We're gonna move on because that's the good thing about it. If I remember, I can come back to it.
Okay.
Another thing you guys are a big advocate on is gun violence. I know a number of women who lost their children to gun violence. And you mentioned Briana Taylor, which again is another mother who lost their child at the hands of the police, but because of a gun. Um, we say Black Lives Matter, and one of the things that someone, on the other side was saying, why would Black Lives matter when they don't matter to Black people? And I don't think a lot of Black people understand that that statement was started by a white person who was trying to say all lives matter. And the sad part is so many people say that, and then they'll say, well, it's true because Black people are killing Black people. Well, white people are killing white people. So that's not the point. The point is the guns and trying to get these off of the street. Why is gun violence important to Misfit?
Gun
Well,
violence is, oh, go ahead,
no,
Patricia. I
no,
was just
no.
waiting.
Go ahead. So I bow to
I
the
was,
president.
okay. And then uh, gun violence is important to us because it's taking our lives. And we have to understand that, let me just say this, and I think I can say it better and more sincerely if I just say it like this. I grew up with guns. I was raised in the inner city of Cleveland, Ohio. Everybody had a gun. When I started dating at 17, my boyfriend carried a gun. My aunt had a gun. Guns are not new to me and probably not new to people in my generation. But what is new to us is the disrespect of life, the way we don't value life. When I went on dates with guys, they had a gun, but they had a conflict. They didn't kill the person because the person was looking at them funny or stepped on their toe. They valued life. So that's why we are frustrated with guns, because we think that people are no longer valuing life. And as you said, Black lives matter, and they matter to us. And I don't care if it's a Black person killing a Black person, it still matters to me. And what we want to get over to the community, to our young people and to the people who are doing this. And when I say young, I can't say a certain age because the age is so long.
Is
I mean,
right.
it's just, I can't even say an age. But what we're trying to get to them is that, yes, that's what we're trying to get them to say. Black lives matter. We're really trying to get them to hear that. You matter.
Mhm.
Your life is important. Both of you life. You kill that young man, you go to jail for 30 years. Two mothers are crying.
Yep.
Two mothers are crying. The
Yep.
one that's got to bury her son and the one that got a son sitting in prison for the rest of his life.
Yep.
Then you look back 30 years later after spending all that time in prison and realize it was a senseless death. We're trying to get you to see now that both of your lives matter. But your life matters. We just want to know so much how much we love them and how much we cherish them and how important they are to us. They're so important to us. And we just wish they felt that way about each other. And so that's why we are so against gun violence, because we believe if we could get some control of these guns, that people wouldn't be so accessible and so just quick to shoot and take a life.
Um,
That
I want to add on to that part of our mission statement is how we look, we fight and we look to end injustice. Um, how does that embody guns? Let's be real. Let's be frank. Um, it's an amendment, the right to bear arms, Second Amendment, right? Anybody in this country that is a citizen has the right. We're not talking about the lawfulness of owning a gun. Our issue is those folks, because our people, the injustice is in our communities, in these inner cities, most of the deaths by gun are happening because guns were smuggled into the state illegally. 80% of guns, 80%, let me read it right, 80% of guns used in crimes in New Jersey came from out of state. New Jersey, in all honesty, has some of the best, most rigid gun laws in the country out of all 50 states. New Jersey is on the up and up with it. Got to give, kudos to our law makers and so forth here. But there's still, we can do better. We can do better. Back to the injustice. 80% of the guns are coming into this state. And why do our kids and I can't even say kids anymore, but I want to stress kids, because you got 10, 11, 12-year-olds walking around armed, feeling the need to protect themselves because of what's going on our streets, what's going on our street corners, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. These kids, and I could be crossing over into other things, but they have the mind to kill because we're not giving them something else to have their mind on. We have taken away so much of extracurricular after school activities from our young people. There's no activities for them, but guns are there. Guns are there. They have access to them. And like Deborah said, there is no respect for life. I have worked with and mentored young people that have been in gangs, that have contemplated being in gangs, and they will all the ones that want to talk to you, that are willing to talk to you, will tell you all the same thing. Well, what else am I going to do? There's nothing else for me to do. There's no after school programs. There's no free community ball teams and so forth. And not just sports, but those things that we had. I can't even think of what some of the programs were in Trenton because it's been so long since they were available, talking 15 years or more, that Weed and Seed. Remember those programs?
Yes.
I mean, it's insane. It's insane. And in working with these kids and mentoring these kids, and I'm tired of standing over caskets of young people. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of going to funerals where the majority of the people at the funeral are under 15 because it's one of their own that's in the casket. I have been on the phone with a young man who was shot 42 times. Shot at, 42 times. Somebody wanted him dead 42 times. 27 bullets hit him, and he lived. No vital organs hit, not paralyzed. 27 bullets hit him out of 42. And you talk to him and you say to him, do you not see that obviously there's a purpose to your life? And it's about life, not about death, not about going out and seeking revenge. God spared your life to spread light. What a testimony you have for young people. The question is, where is he today? Right back to where he was. What do we offer? What are the alternatives? And the numbers that we're talking about are ridiculous. I want to read you some numbers. In 2021, December 31st, there were 20,658 gun deaths in this country. How many days do we have in a year? And how divide that into days and divide that into hours. What are we doing? How can we continuously fail our communities when such is happening? In 2022, by January 31st, 2022, we had already had 1,498 deaths. In 2022, 31 days. 31 days. That's insanity. It's insanity. And listen to these numbers from last year. When I mentioned that 20,658, over 4,500 of those deaths were of children 0 to 17. That's sickening. It's sickening. And 1,055 were under the age of 11. What are we doing?
And just think about all those mothers, all those traumatic mothers. Just think about that. I mean, just think about that.
Okay, I'm going to play the devil's advocate. I hate saying that word. I'm going to look, I do, because I don't want to give him no credit. No, I'm not playing his advocate. I plead the blood of Jesus. I'm not saying that.
Amen.
No. I just thought of what I said. Oh, no, you get no time here. So I'm going to look at it on the other side. That's it. And I'm going to look at it from the fact that from two different other sides. So we're going to touch base on the other side of parents that, okay, there's nowhere near, and it's crazy because my mom would say that my generation had more to do than what my son generation had. And I tend to agree with that. And like where there was wheat and seed for my son's generation, there's not a free, well, there's some low cost, but the cost is not always to where it's really low cost. But there's parents out there who think it's cool to hang out with their kids and smoke with their children. And I'm not going to say drink because there's a lot of Italian families that drink together. But I'm definitely going to say the women, the mothers, because we want to talk about it and we want to be real, is having sex with her children's friends. And then we expect for this child to have morals when their role models are not having it.
We are a broken community.
And now, and I want to say this isn't just happening in Black families. I'm talking, this happens all around the board because I know of white mothers that are doing the same thing. Do you see what I'm saying? So I really wanted to speak to the mothers, and we can talk to the African American community, but this is not just a Black thing because I see the disrespect for life on a global thing.
I'll tell you what it is, what I believe that it is. I think it's it's more of a, I'm looking for the word, like a demographic. It's poor communities. I believe that it's rampant in poor communities. Um, in communities that are affected, because when the here's an example. Here in Trenton, in 2010, we had a major budget cuts, right? I think it was 2008 actually. And by 2010, for example, because I worked for the library, we went from 8 million a year to the first budget cut was 4 million. Like, they came after libraries immediately. We were the first entity within this city to have been affected by budget cuts. We had 5 branches within the city, 1 in each ward, and the large library downtown Trenton. 5 branches, 5 libraries altogether. They cut our budget. We went from 8 million to 4 million to 2.2 to 2. They took the 0.2 away. So we had to close libraries. What did libraries offer? Libraries offered not just free programming to the kids, all kinds of free programming in every ward, where poor communities had the ability to get to your local library for the free programs. Okay. We offered refuge. It was a safe place to be. If you could get to the library after school until your parents could pick you up, it was a safe haven for our young people. And we catered to all ages. See, some of the programs out there that were out there, were broken down into various ages, but the library encamped everybody from the youngest to the oldest. You had computers. Might not have had a computer at home, and we're talking, 10, 12 years ago, but you could go to the library and get a computer. You had access to reading materials to get your homework done. You had assistance from the staff. And then we took that out of the poor communities. We took it away. They come after the poor communities first. Why?
Is
A
that
lot of us aren't voting
okay?
in the poorer communities. A lot of us are not using our voice. How in the world could 4 libraries close all on the same day?
Yeah.
How did we allow that to happen? Staff had petitions and so forth and everything. Couldn't get nobody to sign the petitions. They're saying they're not going to close the libraries. Here we are later, one library still functioning on $2 million. And the library is supposed to cater to over 80,000 people, one building. Really? Really? Not understanding that kids aren't coming, they're not crossing borders now. So they don't have access to that one building where all those free activities are just waiting for them.
And some can't even get to it. So
That's
it's
my
not
point.
that they can't get, they don't have the transportation or the means to catch the bus.
Yeah.
And which brings me to that point, that what do we do with the grown-ups that are failing the children? How do we get them involved? How many ways can we say, stop listening to the okie doke with your voice don't matter? I'll give you an example. I know a young lady. I'm not going to tell you where she worked. But she said to me, if I vote, I'm going to vote for the person that doesn't want me to wear a mask. They said, I'm not going, because I don't want to wear it. And Murphy is going to make us wear a mask. And if we don't wear this mask, if we don't get vaccinated, because it's going to make us get vaccinated. And if we don't get vaccinated, we going to lose our job in a year. So my question to them was, Do you not know that the other person will cut your position because that's the first thing that they go after when they come in and redo their budget? They cut that in the inner city first. Why? Because we won't say nothing.
You don't speak.
So this is why Misfit is a really good thing to have in our area. And I wanted to bring it up because I want mothers to get involved. I want them to change their mindset, change their narrative. So what, and then another thing that I want to speak on it. Go ahead, you was gonna say something.
No, go ahead. I'm making notes. Go ahead. I got you.
Okay, another thing I want to speak on is we said that there's not many things for our children to do. What can we do to change that?
Okay, it's so many things that y'all have said that I wanted to speak on. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. Please bear with me. Patricia mentioned the children being 10 and 12 years of age, that are killing each other and is carrying guns. I want you to know that per science, a male's reasoning part of the brain is not fully developed until they are 25 years of age.
Mm.
Now,
Explains a
that was
lot.
the science I read in 2000. I don't know if it's changed since then.
It
But
hasn't changed much.
yes, you say it has not developed. So you have a 10 or 12-year-old
Yep.
child
Yep.
who really is a child in every sense of the word, walking around with a gun. So that's a huge problem there. The second thing that was asked, you mentioned not morals and parents not having morals, and the way some of the parents want to hang with the people. Well, a lot of the parents are traumatized. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I'm not a therapist, but I think Patricia is. A lot of them are suffering from, they're traumatized themselves. They really are. And so you have a traumatized parent trying to exist, and the only positive feedback she is getting is from kids who are younger and telling her she look cute. And kids, people who are telling her, boy, you look younger than your boy, you got a young looking mother. And she's getting her ego fed from that. So the work we have is a lot of work. That's why it's a community effort. We need older women to come and walk with them young women to say, we get you. We was young ones, and show it helps show them, because when you get to know them and speak one-on-one, they're not really happy in that situation either. They're not happy. They're doing what they have to do to exist.
Without existing.
And while they're existing and they want to feel good for a couple of minutes or make them feel good, that's what we have going on. Morals. Morals have always been a problem because we cannot legislate morals. So they've always been, and they're going to be a problem. But I don't know what morals has to do with getting a gun and killing someone. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? I might not have morals. I may be sleeping around. What they got to do with me getting a gun, breaking in your house, killing you? I might be doing a lot of things that's immoral. But when does that translate to me taking another person's life? So it's a whole different mindset there. And y'all mentioned voting, and you said that the young lady said she didn't want to vote. She was only going to vote for someone who didn't make her wear a mask. That's a huge problem. That's the problem that is just so obvious in our community. Me, myself, and I. Not what affects my brother, but what affects me. Or he's not going to let me drive 55 miles per hour. I don't want him. But how about the other people who can't handle a car at that speed? So we need to bring back stuff, which I don't know if we can bring it back. But we need to bring back the day when we really, truly cared about our neighbor.
Yeah.
I just didn't say that, hey, I cared about you. I cared about what happened to you. I said, well, I would do that, but that might affect my neighbor next door, so I'm not going to do it. But that's gone now.
Exactly.
That's fine. I'm gonna do it. This affects me. This is what I want. Now we can fall into that trap if we want to. But if you've been watching the news, Trump people sticking together. And that's all I'm going to say. And I know y'all don't like him and you didn't want to hear his name, but they are sticking together. They've got they are together on their fight. They are together in what they're doing. And that shows, if there's anything else that I have to learn from that group of people, it shows what you can do when you have a group that stick together.
That's it.
When you have a group of people that stick together, that he done said if they go to jail, that if he become president, he would pardon them. He done made all these promises. But there's some people who stick together, giving money, fighting, doing everything for something that I think is just a little off course from my thoughts, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm so thankful for you, Vini, for having us on. I'm really thankful because what you said is what is so important to us. We're just trying to get the mothers who can see to see. If you can't see, I get it. I'm telling, like I told my nephew, he told me, I was trying to tell him to do something. He said, well, I can't see. I said, well, then you need a guide. Do you see Stevie Wonder walking on stage without a guide? He can't see, he got someone to help him. So if you can't see, you need a guide.
You need a guide.
And so a lot of people, they can't see, and I get it.
And that's that sense of community, sticking together. You know, if your sister, your brother can't see, then it's up to you to guide them.
To help that person see out of love. And people always say, well, I don't want that because they're going to cuss me out. Well, they're going to cuss you out anyway. Because the minute they want something you don't do, they're going to cuss you out. They're cussing you out anyway. So you might as well get cussed out for trying to do something good.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main problem. And I get it. I get it, people. Honest to God, I get it. I didn't come from an affluent family. My aunt was a nurse. We brought our little home. She worked and she rented out part of the home and she worked. So what I'm trying to say, I understand being overwhelmed. I understand when you feel like it's just too much. I got bills, I got kids, my child is not acting right in school. I got to run over here and take care of this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm done. I'm just done. But you can't be done.
Can't be done.
Take a break, but you can't be done.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be done. And so we want you to know that's what we really are about. We hear the mother's heart. We feel their pain. Even the mothers who don't agree with their lifestyle, we feel your pain. We know your pain. We know you're looking for something.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter your situation. You lose a child, you hurt. It doesn't matter the situation, just like you said, you know, whether it's the perpetrator or the victim, a mother has been affected. There's a hurt, there's a common bond in the hurt. But I want to say something because I we got to mention what's going on this week, but I want to say something to Vini.
Because I was about to get there.
Okay, well, I want to say something to Vini about the young lady in the mask. Okay, gonna vote, like Debbie said, for one thing that affects her. And what do you know about the person that's putting that into place? What is that? How do they look at you? They don't care about you wearing or not wearing the mask. Because if you're wearing it, if you're not wearing it, are they against you and those in your community? Be an educated voter. Don't just vote on one issue. You better dig deep and find out what that other person is doing in your community. What are they looking at? Are they for redlining in your community?
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? But the person, the candidate is like, yeah, that's what they're thinking about. Hey, it's gravy now, but on the other hand, they signing deals in the back room that's going to get you every other way.
Amen.
Just like you said, taking the money out of your community. Oh, you don't want to wear a mask? Fine, don't wear the mask. Don't wear the mask. But guess what? You ain't going to have to wear the mask because you ain't going to have no job to go to because I'm cutting that program cut.
You won't have nowhere to go because I'm going to cut everything else.
And then I'm going to cut your food stamps, and then I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to cut everything else. So go ahead and vote for me because you don't want to wear a mask. Okay, that's that. Okay. Now, you said you were going to bring up the other thing. I could bring it up, but I'll let you bring it up. Go ahead, Vini.
Well, as a host.
Hey, I used to be a host anyway. Go ahead.
And if she would get it together, she could do it again, but she keep telling me no.
No.
Okay, look, you know how when you had a headache? Oh, to the headache. For those that's listening, I want to rub my eyes. Because every time she do hostly duties, and then I be like, and she keep telling me no, it just gives me that headache right over my eyes. So anyway, in support of mothers gun violence, or and y'all brought up a very good point. When one mother is burying a child, the other one is maybe not burying them, but them being locked up is a lot. My nephew being locked up was a lot. Kenny, my son, went to jail for almost 4 days for self-defense. It was a week, but it felt like 2 months. It was a lot. And he was self-defense. So I can't imagine and don't want to imagine me being a mother in either one of those situations. But to all of the ones, like I mention Lori all the time because Lori was one of those mothers who had to bury her only child. And every time I think about her, I say a prayer for her. Because I don't know, but I want to be in support of her. And you guys came up with a beautiful way in Black History Month to be supportive. So talk to me about that.
Go ahead, Patricia.
Oh. Well, the advisory board, which also consists of it's myself and of course our president, and then there's Sheila McLean, that are known as Faye. And this is really her baby. This is something she really wanted us to do. She wanted us to push for and get support for a moment of silence, a certain time during the day, once a week during Black History Month. And the crazy thing about that is when we started researching and so forth, we discovered that there is it National Gun Violence Week?
Oh, Awareness Week.
Awareness Week. National Gun Violence Awareness Week, or Gun Awareness Week, or whatever it is the first week in February, from February 1st to February 7th. We didn't know that at the time. This is the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? So we decided before we knew that on this Friday, which is February the 3rd, February the 4th, February 4th, at 3 p.m., we were going to begin at 3 p.m. a moment of silence every Friday. It's going to take place every Friday beginning this Friday. And it just so happens to be the first Friday in National Gun Violence Awareness Week. That moment of silence is an opportunity for not just mothers. We're starting it here, but we're hoping that it catches on like fire, you know, and throughout all the communities that you could ever think of, people are taking a moment of silence to remember all of the lives that have been snuffed out by gun violence. As mothers in support of fair and equal treatment, we thought it was fitting for us to push this initiative forward. And we're grateful to Edwina Vini Stansberry and, oh gosh, I hope I say her name right, Maggie Gazzardo.
Yes.
Right, who was the actual CEO of WIMG. We're grateful that WIMG is giving us that support, and they're going to go silent at 3 p.m. Every Friday in the month of February on WIMG to support this effort. We're not saying that this moment of silence is going to cure anything. Guns aren't going to magically go away, but it is an opportunity to bring awareness in the need for that type of support within our communities. And wouldn't it be an awesome thing if, you know, I don't know, a year from now, you know, radio stations all over the country go silent for a moment of silence every Friday to remember those lives, the lives that were snuffed out by senseless gun violence.
Thank
Ladies,
you.
this hour went by fast.
Yes, it
And
did.
I know Mrs. Hall was like, wait, am I going to be able to? That was a whole firecracker. I'm not going to be able to. Oh, God, Beanie, an hour. You need more than that. She was a whole firecracker.
Oh,
I
I'm so
love it. But thank you, ladies, so much for giving me this information and just talking to me about Misfit. If someone quickly want to be a part, how can they do it?
They we'll be on Facebook. We also have a webpage, and I don't know the address, but MISFET2020. And you can do that, and we can give you some more information to pass on through your station. But right now, mainly Facebook, and I do have a phone number which they can reach me at, and I'm gonna send that to you as well.
No,
And
give
so,
it to us now.
okay, 804-477-9048.
Say it
And
one
our,
more time.
804-477-9048.
and
And you can,
our website is Misfet, MISFET, Misfet2020.org.
thank you, Patricia.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, ladies. This has been a pleasure. You have been listening to In the Public Interest. I was your host, Beanie Stansberry. Have a great rest of your week. And remember, every Friday at 3:00, a moment of silence, just in solidarity.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.